Hey besties, we're Euphoric. It's Shane and Fana. And welcome to the show. All right, Fana, good to... Oh. Good to have you back.
It's good to have you back.
Yeah, man.
I'm really excited to talk about the second episode. Because, oh my goodness gracious.
Crazy episode.
I
It
know,
was called
another...
Stuntin' Like My Daddy.
And that was, okay, what I'm noticing is the name of the episode is the same as, like, the name of, like, the theme song of that episode. Which is, like, well, I'm guessing, because, like, in that, at some point in the episode, I heard a song that was, like, Stuntin' on My Daddy, or Stuntin' Like My Daddy, and I was like, oh, that's the name of the episode. So I
that
think
went over
that's
my
how
head.
they name it, but... Are the songs all original for Euphoria?
I don't know. Wait, that was making me think of it, but I feel like we're getting so ahead of ourselves, because who are you feeling like today, Fana?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You go first, because I went first last time.
You're right. But I wanted you to go first, because I don't know who I'm feeling like today. Because I'm not... Okay, so... I'm kind of, and this one's not too interesting, but I'm feeling like whichever one of the twins was helping Kat at the mall today, because because like I drove my mom to my dad's office today, so it's like I was like helping someone out today.
Well,
that's...
I'm feeling a little bit like Cassie, I think, because I'm a little stressed out, but not in, like, a catastrophic way. So, like, things are overall good.
Good.
The way I feel, are they all, like, overall, I feel like comparatively, she's doing fine.
Yeah, she had my favorite bit this episode, I think, until the end. But
what do you
we'll
mean,
get
like,
there.
Wearing a cute little shirt?
I think, okay, we'll get there.
Good. Okay.
I think the scene with her and McKay was almost good. The scene where he... So, what I like about it, because to refresh everyone's memory, the scene is she invites McKay over. He's at college, so it's like it's his weekend off. So it's like, okay, she invited him to her house to watch a movie. It's like they don't really have a relationship based on anything like other than like sex. So it's like it's very obvious, like, okay, that's what's gonna happen here, and it's like that's fine, that's what we're doing. That's fine. And so then he is like talking to her like nonsense about like football that like clearly like she can't really relate to or have a conversation about, and like he just kind of wanted to talk at her, so she's just kind of like kissing his hands and like being like because it's like, what else is she, like it's like she's not gonna talk to him about football, like what is she gonna say about it? And then he gets mad at her and is like, oh, like why are you always so sexual? And it's like, I feel like there's something good there, because, and like, she like gives him a look, like, it's like, what else? Like, it's like, sorry, like, you wanted me to like talk to you about football. Like, if you want to have a real conversation, we can do that. But I also think I'm reading too much into it. And I think
honestly, I thought that scene was brilliant. I feel like every episode, there's like one arc that feels aggressively true to life.
Yeah.
And like, what is more you and your high school boyfriend than he's talking nonsense about some shit you never in a million years are going to care about him. All you want to do is like be told you're pretty. You wore this cute little shirt. He's dressed in like whatever, the most whatever outfit ever. And he's talking to you about nonsense. And then he gets mad at you.
Yeah.
Almost for no reason. And so it's like, but also, like, I did think it was good that, like, technically speaking, he was trying to say something to her that, like, is important to him. So, like, even though to you or me or Cassie, it's not that important, like, it felt so true to life and true to high school to me that, like, they have that setup where it's, like, they're both just so clearly immature. Like, I was like, that really works so well in a way, like, I kind of feel like Cassie pretty consistently is there. Like, I feel like we felt that way about her last episode, too.
Last episode, like, I don't remember what she did.
Well, that was when McKay, like, choked her and didn't ask.
Oh,
and then,
yeah.
There was this, like, weird like, it feels like they keep having, like, those moments.
Yeah.
And, like, it feels so true to, like, what a high school relationship is like. In, like, a very, like, interesting way. Even, honestly, the stuff at the end where obviously he's then, like, semi-nudes and blah, blah,
with
blah.
a funny emoji.
I know. What was that emoji? That, like,
it was, like...
That, isn't that the am I wrong? Is that the emoji from, in the Emoji Movie, Meh?
No, it wasn't the Meh emoji. It was the emoji that is most like Gracie's brother Jonah, because it's just like the normal smiley face emoji. Like, it's just the ... smile emoji.
Yes, okay, I do know yes, okay. Is Meh in that movie, is that Jason Bateman? Did I make that up?
I don't know, man.
Because I haven't seen it, I only saw the trailer, like, twice ever, but, like, I feel like...
Let's look it up. Meh emoji in the Emoji Movie. Jennifer Coolidge.
What?
Yeah.
You're lying.
That's Mary Meh. Let's see Mel Meh. Mel Meh.
Well, I think those are the parents, I'm guessing.
Yeah, who is Mel Meh played by? It doesn't see. Played by Stephen Wright. I don't know who that is.
Patrick Stewart is the poop emoji?
Yeah, that's, like, classic. Everyone knows that.
I did not know that.
Oh, sorry.
Whoa. This is, like, the funniest cast of a movie I've ever seen.
I think it's so funny that you, Fana, is discovering how funny the Emoji Movie... Like, this seems like your bread and butter.
Well, I've never seen it, because, like, everybody said it was, like, terrible, and, like, the way people... Ilana Glazer is in it.
Do you know how the Emoji Movie ends? Can I spoil it for you?
Kinda don't, because I kind of want to see it now.
Okay, it has an awesome ending.
Wait, so
I want to spoil it for you.
Who the heck is Meh?
Stephen Wright, whoever that is.
Is Meh's first name Mel? I feel like
it's Mel Meh.
I feel like Mel and Mary are the parents, and, like... Right?
Is the main character of the Emoji Movie... Gene is the main character.
Oh my god, it's TJ Miller?
Yeah, but Gene isn't Meh.
Really?
Or I guess he is. Okay.
Or he's not Meh, but I remember in the trailer he's like, I'm Gene, and I'm a Meh.
Yeah,
Meh.
You know what? He is. He is a Meh, because, like, yeah.
So anyway...
So, Euphoria episode 2, strutting like my daddy.
So, Euphoria episode 2, stunting like my daddy. I do think, like, when he asks for nudes later, it's like, yeah, obviously. Like, it is so... And that's the thing is, like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's the most, like, terrible, predictable writing ever. I think it would be fixed by being more predictable.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is the fix that we want. And not in the way where it's like, oh, they got kids out here, like, selling drugs. Like, I want it to be more predictable the way, like, Cassie, at least so far, has been predictable. Like, of course that's how he's acting. And, like, how their relationship is.
A thing that I thought of this episode is that what Euphoria tries to do is it does the most dramatic thing for every situation and doesn't think of the consequences for that. Like, in the situation, like, with Cassie, it's like, that thing is the most dramatic thing that would happen to have, like, this interaction, but that's, like, a real, like, drama. Like, it, like, makes sense, like, her, like, sending, even though, like, I still think, like, I don't think, so the final shot of, like, sending the nudes, like, I kind of wish it ended just with her closing the curtains, because then we know as the audience that he shows the nudes. Like, it kind of sucks that, like, we see, like, silhouette of, like, sexy poses from this, like, 17-year-old girl, you know, because then it's like, if they just close the curtains, it's like, we get, oh, she's, like, sending the nudes, and it's, like, have the drama without, like, doing, but, like, whatever, it's Euphoria, you know? But it's, like, but, like, the whole Nate Jacobs thing is like, oh, yeah, let's just have him fucking kill someone, because that'd be so crazy. And it's like...
No, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Did he kill that person?
I don't know, man. He was also, like, ninja stalking him, like, from the roof. Like, Nate... Why do they make him, like, Batman? Like, honestly... Nate...
Well, is he meant... Obviously, like, from what I've heard about Euphoria, he's not a hero. In this, they're kind of acting a little like he is, kind of.
So this is what I've been thinking about all week, is that, because, this brings us back to the start of the episode. The episode starts with, Zendaya on the bus saying, quote, "When I get really high, I think I'm psychic," and then telling us Nate Jacobs' backstory, which to me implies, you said last episode, is all of Euphoria happening in Zendaya's head? This line, and this
feels like that.
Yeah. Is this an unreliable narrator? Is this really Nate Jacobs' backstory, or is Zendaya just predicting that this is his backstory? You know?
Right, like, is any of it true? Because also it's like, obviously, the setup of, like, he hated being in the locker room. And, like, stuff from last episode, but, like, it's very heavy-handed in this episode, like, that he is meant to be gay and closeted. And, like, all this stuff, it's like, so do you know that? Like, how do you know that? Like, either, because the thing is, if that's true, it implies that Zendaya is psychic when she's high. Doesn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Zendaya actually is just a superhero.
Well, that's like what I said. Do you know the show The First Lady, or like whatever the hell it's called, like on Showtime? It's like this new show where it's Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, who is it? The First Lady cast. Yeah, Viola Davis, Gillian Anderson, and Michelle Pfeiffer playing Michelle Obama, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Betty Ford. Like, it takes place at 3 timelines. And, like, Vincent and I were talking about it, and it, like, the first episode, like, I only know people who've seen the first episode of it, because, like, supposedly, like, was, like, ass. But, like, the acting, like, people were like, it was not good for the most part, and, like, it was, like, confusing and, like, cuts around too much, like, between, like, there's no sense of, like, who you're gonna see next, really. But we came up with this awesome idea that, like, what if in the 3rd episode they have, like, WandaVision-esque twist where, like, it turns out that, like, one of them gets a time machine and all 3 of them switch husbands, and, like, switch who they're the first lady to. And I feel like that's what I kind of... Obviously, what I know Euphoria is going to be is, like, not that. But, like, what I wish Euphoria did was, like, it turns out, like, Zendaya is, like, a superhero.
Well, so this is interesting because I have seen a lot of Euphoria fan cams. None of them are about Zendaya or Jules, in fact, our 2 main characters. They're all about Maddie and Cassie. Like,
well, I wonder about that, because I feel like that's, like, my first exposure to, like, who Sydney Sweeney was, like, constantly seeing people retweet from, like, the Twitter account, The Best of Sydney Sweeney. Yeah. And I was like, oh, like, who's this, like, beautiful woman I keep seeing, like, on golf carts and, like, at pools? And then I was like, oh, I guess she's in Euphoria. So, like, people love, yes, those 2 specifically.
Yeah. And so that makes me think, like, something's gonna happen to Zendaya and Jules. Like, that they're not going to be the main characters for... No, not necessarily that, but it's like... I don't know, just they're not the focus anymore.
Well, I wonder about that, because it's like, Zendaya is not, even though the show tries to, like, romanticize a lot of what she's doing, she's not, like, from our perspective, it's hard to be like, like, even though Zendaya is beautiful, Rue's beautiful, Hunter Schafer is beautiful, Jules is beautiful, like, it's hard to be like, oh my gosh, like, look what a, like, hot girl this is, when, like, the plot of Euphoria, at least so far, like, is what it is. Whereas, like, with Cassie, when she's having these, like, kind of, like, is small potatoes the phrase I mean? Like, these kind of, like, very, like, small towny problems that, like, are, like, isn't small potatoes, like, a thing?
I've never heard it, but it sounds like it could be a thing.
Well, apparently it's a band, but what's small potatoes, like, the phrase? Everything's like the Little Potato Company. Isn't small potatoes a phrase?
I don't...
Yeah, it is. Small potatoes is something insignificant or unimportant. So, like,
awesome.
She has these, like, very, like, kind of whatever, like, her problems are, like, so, like, whatever, at least at this point. Not, like, that they don't matter, obviously, but, like, in the context of the show, that's, like, the one that's, like, the more mellow of them, and, like, kind of, at least so far, same with Maddie. And so I feel like it's easier to be like, these girls are so hot, because, like, it's not, like, saying that about, like, the person who is, like, in every single episode so far overdosing on drugs.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what I was saying last episode, is, like, what makes Zendaya an interesting protagonist for the version of Euphoria that I'm watching, that I don't think is the version of Euphoria I'm supposed to watch, is that it's, like, I kind of like that it's, like, Zendaya is this, like, annoying, like, I don't have a... But obviously, this episode, actually, we got some of Zendaya's backstory, is that she has a ill, now dead, but long time ill father, which, like, kind of makes my theory less, like, I don't like that. Because, like, I liked that it's, like, Zendaya, like, it was somehow, like, to somehow, like, sympathize her and, like, make her, like, have more of a story, like, ruined what was interesting about her for me.
Right?
Not
like,
ruined, but...
No, but I agree, because I wish, like, her biggest problem was, like, Jules is texting somebody else. Like, that her biggest issue was, like, something like, oh, she has a crush on someone who, like, is just kind of interested.
Yeah.
But, like, no, I get what you mean, that, like, kind of, like, ruins what makes her an interesting protagonist, which is, like, by making her just, like, oh, well, of course you would end up with a problem.
Yeah.
If this was your life. Not, like, obviously you, like, anyone in that situation would, but, like, that it makes sense, like, I feel like makes it, like, takes away from it. But also, just, I have so much to say about that opening.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we need to go back to that.
I love how it's shot. Like, all of these, like, it's through keyholes, or, like, I loved the one where it was, like, from an, like, bird's eye view of, like, the door opening and Mr. Jacobs walking through.
Yeah, it uses
like,
that shot, like, a lot throughout Euphoria. Like, there was that shot in the first episode, but yeah.
Yes, but, like, I also, the one of, like, him, okay, here was one thought I had about it. Maybe this is a hot take. I felt like if you're gonna have a 12-year-old working out like that, like, it has to be the way a 12-year-old exercises. Because, like, having this, like, guy just actually, like, being able to lift the weights and, like, yelling like that made it...
I thought that
like,
was awesome.
I did too, but, like, it made it funny rather than, like, that scene works better if it's, like, this scrawny kid who, like, is trying but can't lift the weights and, like, you know what I mean? Like, that works better, I feel like, if he's not as good at it.
I get what you're saying, but to me, you saying, like, the scene works better, like, funny, is, like, to me, the point a little bit, because, like, Nate Jacobs as a character, little did I know, last episode, I talked about how we need an alt-right gamer boy. In this episode, we got two. Obviously, there was the one we actually got, but I think Nate Jacobs is actually more that than we realize, because like I think that's what that like embodied, was like him being like, I don't know, he's like, it's just, there's something interesting about like it being funny. Like there's something about like the patheticness of success in like in an interesting way. It's like there's something cool about seeing this like scrawny 12-year-old like do a feat that is awesome, but also to us is like pathetic. Like it's pathetic how awesome that scene is. You know what I mean?
That's true. I don't know. I just wish everybody in Euphoria was more pathetic. Like
yeah, obviously.
Like I just think it needs more of that. But I did think it was awesome when like the shot, obviously, like, this goes without saying, but, like, where the 12-year-old, like, bends down, and then, like, the person who lifts up is, like, 18-year-old Nate Jacobs, like, that was awesome.
We skipped over something huge, though.
Huh.
That Nate Jacobs' dad not only, like, furthers, like, the thing that we didn't like last episode of, like, more, like, mythologizing like a sexual predator by like making him have like a huge porn collection instead of just making him like a real scary man that like more like calls out like actual things, and like instead making him like a serial killer, which like but not only that, is that there's a secret code to get into the collection,
and
that Nate Jacobs...
Zendaya knows.
Yeah. And
like,
and the code is figured out by like color coordination and like drawing arrows, and it's like, what was going on there?
I know, and I'm like, because it's like, I feel like, again, like, that would be better with more, like, the less dramatic version of that.
Yeah.
Where, like, it's way better as a scene if, like, he's just playing a game on his dad's computer and, like, suddenly there's a pop-up. And, like, he clicks it and it's like, holy shit. Like, that would have worked so much better. And I just feel like, it, again, like, we talked about this last episode, but, like, just that we wish, like, there was more of, like, the, like, I don't know, less of the, like father, like son thing, and the whole thing where his dad's, like, you know, people are gonna hate you for who you are, but you have to, like, be driven and, like, be the best at everything, like, that whole, like, speech. And I was like, oh, like, it just, like, made me so annoyed. Honestly, though, that's the one, like, that, like, vignette part, like, where he, like, says that, is what makes me more okay with that it turns out he's gay. Because it's, like...
Wait, was that in this episode?
Or, like, I feel like that's what it was, like... He's on Grindr.
Like, the penis thing?
Well, I mean just, like, he's on Grindr and talking to someone saying, like, oh, look, I'm not out of the closet, and, like...
Wait, what?
Yaha.
I missed this.
So, Shy Guy 118, who Jules is talking to...
Yeah.
That's on Grindr, which is, for those of our listeners who don't know, it's like Tinder, but it's more for hookups, from what I know. But it's
Jules
exclusively for queer people. And
is
so
Jules like posing as like a cis man?
Well, that's why I asked. Like, I don't know if Jules is in this show. Like, I know Hunter Schafer is trans. I don't know if Jules is also meant to be, and that's like how they're talking, or if it's that Jules is posing as someone who she's not. Answer in the comments if you know. If you know the answer. No spoilers, but answer in the comments. And so that was why it was like a big reveal at the end, because like his bio said like cis male, 18, new to this, not out of the closet.
Interesting. I missed that.
And then like looking for, like, not looking for hookups, looking for something in someone real. And so that's why it's, like, a huge deal that, like, not only, like, all of the stuff with, like, he just killed someone over Maddie, if he killed someone, answer in the comments. No spoilers, but tell us. So, but then he did all that over Maddie, but it's like he's also texting Jules. Like, it's not just that, it's that, like... So I feel like I don't like the thing of, like, the, like, angry gay who's, like...
Yeah, I really don't like that.
Like, I think that is inappropriate and weird.
Especially
and bad
because it's like...
Because we know he's sexually assaulted people, and, like...
Yeah, and that it's, like... It seems like it's trying to, like, be like... Yeah, but he's gay, so he's troubled, and, like yes. It's, like, you know what, it's using, like, gay as, like, a mental illness, almost.
Yes, it so is, and so that's why I'm, like, I, like, hate it, but the part that makes me be like, oh, maybe I see what they were trying to do was, like... I don't know, like, there are situations where, like, a traumatizing incident causes someone's, like, brain chemistry to alter, and they are queer. And so I feel like that is something that, like, I don't necessarily, given the other topics that Euphoria takes on, I don't necessarily think, like, oh, that's way too serious for Euphoria. Like, I'm like, like, I don't have, like, a huge issue with you doing it. But I think, like, since they have other queer characters, like, it's not like they only have one gay character and it's him, and, like, this is how it is. So, like, for those reasons, I'm like, like, it's 2019, maybe they were, like, trying to tackle this issue, but, and I do think that part of why I feel like maybe I'm less mad about it than I otherwise would be is, like, this conversation he and his dad have, and, like, how it's not the, like, father, like, son thing that they, like, originally were setting up, but it's still just, like, I wonder, first of all, I wonder what the new season is like about that, and also I want to look something up. Israeli Euphoria. I want to know when that was.
I think it was, like 2017, but I could be wrong.
Oh my gosh, it was 2012. Whoa. 10 episodes in 2012. And it's, this is interesting. I just learned it's set in the 90s.
Oh. Not 2019.
No.
Interesting.
And, whoa, this is interesting. It's also called Euphoria in Hebrew.
I knew that.
That I didn't know. Like, it's spelled, like, it's a transliteration of Euphoria.
Yeah.
So, to me, like, I wonder if there's something similar in the Israeli series that they're trying to, like, remake. But mostly, I think, like, it just smacks of 2019.
Yeah. What I took the Nate Jacobs thing to be, which is interesting, and, like, I was also going to talk about how, like, I had a problem with, but, like, was interesting, but now I realized it was just wrong, is I thought it was, like, again, like, a, like, kind of, like, alt-right, like, Proud Boy, like, incel-esh, like, mentality of, like, that he's, like, oh, like, I need to, like, punish, like, everyone who, like, messes with, like, the, like, the like, whatever, like, I don't know, it's just like, I feel like that is, like, but then it's, like, it was unclear, like, whether it wanted us to, like, sympathize with that or not, and, like, why I realized that is, like, now even worse is, like, I kind of think they wanted to sympathize because it's like, oh, like, he's gay.
They want us to sympathize a little bit, and, like, he's one of the scariest characters I've seen on television.
For sure.
For, like, mostly for his, like, cultural ramifications in that way, because it's like, clearly they do want us to, like, sympathize with that, and, like, he had something happen to him that is, like, one of the most traumatizing things that can happen to you, and arguably, like, one of the more traumatizing things that happens to anyone on this show so far. And so, like, if you're gonna introduce that, like, we have to sympathize with him, because he is, like, this victim of this horrible thing, but it's, like, it's another one of, obviously to a greater extent than, like, the Cassie and McKay thing, but, like, it's more of
Wait,
these, like,
what is the thing that happened
moments.
to Nate Jacobs that is...
Just, like, that he found this, like, collection of pornography, and, like...
Is that the most traumatizing thing?
Well, like, there was, like, child porn in it.
Oh. Yeah.
So, like, and, like, finding that out about your dad, and then, like, you still have this relationship with him, and, like, I don't know, I feel like that's, like, you do have to, like, I get why they have to make us sympathize with him, given that they want to do that, but it's also, like, what? Like, it's also, like...
For the record, I wasn't, like, saying that, like, oh, like, what Nate Jacobs' dad did isn't bad. Obviously, I think that that's bad. I just thought that it was, like, the show didn't treat it like Nate Jacobs thought that was bad. In fact, it treated it like he didn't see that as a big deal, which, like, I guess that's, like, my definition of, like, it's like, I think of, like, trauma, I guess, is, like, it's, like, to me, it doesn't seem like Nate Jacobs has, like, actually, like, maybe it's, like, more, like, subconscious, like, the, like, trauma, and I guess that's why it's, like, interesting.
That's what I mean, because it's, like, of course, like, he is clearly traumatized. That's why he's, like, thinks that if this is happening outside of Rue's head, like, if Zendaya's right, and she is psychic, that's why he thinks all those things about women, but also is, like, secretly in the closet. Like, he has this, like, horrible relationship with his dad because of what a bad guy the dad is.
Yeah.
And, like, he's acting out, and he shouldn't. Like, people make choices. He doesn't have to do those things.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is so weird that we have to, like, empathize with him in this episode, and that he's the hero. Like, I feel like so unequivocally in this episode, he's treated like a hero.
Yeah. And I think, again, there's a version of that is interesting, that it's like how like in The Great Gatsby, like, it's like, or not The Great Gatsby, maybe, like, I was thinking, like, you know, sometimes movies will do a thing that, like, it uses the cinema. Okay, for example, like, this is like very tangential, but, like, in Jojo Rabbit, how it, like, treats the like, Jewish girl like a horror movie monster. It's like, we as the audience, like, obviously know not to think of her like a horror movie monster, but like, it uses that. And so it's like, there could be a version of Euphoria that uses cinematic language like it does to treat Nate Jacobs like a hero, but us know for that makes it more sickening to us, but it, like, it doesn't feel like that. It just kind of feels like, yeah.
Also, this is not something I have a ton to say about. I love the way that football is portrayed. I think that is fascinating to me. Because, like, or just, like, kind of the popular kids, so to speak, in general, like, to bring up, like, our Glee comparison once more, like, the way football is there is, like, oh, these are the coolest kids in the school, and, like, we have to get them to like us, and, you know, all this stuff, and, like, that actually, I think they do a good job of what you were just saying, where it's, like, they're using cinematic language that makes the football players heroes. Like, everyone is clapping when they come in the cafeteria and, like, cheering for them when they win the game, and, like, all these, like, hot girls in little outfits are, like, surrounding him when he wins. But, like, we know that, like, that is a bad culture. And so, like, it's weird. It's interesting to me that they can do it in some places and not others.
Well, and because there's the scene where there's, like, the pep rally or whatever it is, and, like, the guy, like, comes to, like, Rue and Jules' table. The issue there, though, is Rue and Jules are as cringe as them, and, like, that's why we need this, like, alt-right meme boy who shows up, and so I feel like we can move to this. So, Kat is sitting in class, and just, like, a kind of, like, dumb-looking guy sits next to her, and, like, basically, like, she, like, immediately calls him a school shooter, and then that could have been so good if he was just, like, didn't talk after that, because it's like, are you insane? Like, that's such a crazy thing to say to someone, and then instead, like, he, like, played along with the joke, and, like, it's clear that, like, they're gonna kiss as the season goes on, and it's like, ugh. Like, it's like, you almost had it, Euphoria. You almost had what you needed. Like, because it's like, she should have said that, and he should have looked at her like she was fucking insane. It's like, are you joking? Like, it's like, what, like, and it's, it was so close right there. It was so close.
Well, I have a couple things to say, because Sorry to go back to the Nate Jacobs stuff.
Yeah.
I
Keep
realized
going.
in my notes I've got a couple things to say, but I have a lot to say about that guy.
Yeah.
First of all, I love how teeny tiny Maddie is compared to him.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting, but it's also, like, a nice use of visual humor. I just, like, think it's awesome. There's a shot where, like, he's like, he knows all the things that other guys want to do to her or something like that. And there's a shot with that voiceover that until the very end, I couldn't even tell that it was, like, a roofie going in a drink because it was shot from, like, inside the drink. And I was like, why are you... It was, like, the opposite effect to me. It was the same kind of shot, but, like, the key in the Nate Jacobs sequence. Like, I was like, this is not working, which made me so frustrated. But also, I think he might have killed that guy because it says... or what he would do to someone who hurt her, and it's him killing someone.
Yeah.
And so I feel like he killed him.
I think he did.
Like,
No, I think he did too.
I think you're right, because I thought he just beat him up, but I think you're right. I think he did kill him. But I also, there's a part where she's like, oh, well, like, he just has anger issues, but every guy has anger issues.
Yeah.
And, like, that felt very much the opposite of the, like, but this is America line read, even though it's, like, kind of the same line, which was, like, kind of, like, bananas to me. But also, yeah, I have other stuff to say, like, in sequence of the episode, but I want to talk about that guy, too. I did feel like it was so true to, like, what those relationships are like. The, like, oh, were you a school shooter? And he's like, ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, because
not.
I've been the guy sitting behind them in bio class, being like, what? And so I feel like they need that guy. Like, they still need an alter writer, gamer, or boy to sit behind them. But also, by the way, that bio textbook was my 9th grade bio textbook.
Whoa, that's awesome.
I know, I was like, oh, that's my book from Mr. Landrum's class. Hi, Mr. Landrum, if you're listening. But I kind of thought that was funny because, like, that was, like, the very, like, basic, like, bio class for, like, freshmen in high school, and these were, like, the seniors. And, like, obviously that wasn't on purpose, but, like, that just made me giggle. But I do feel like that worked to me if there was, like, if we're less clearly supposed to root for it. But I'm kind of cat-pilled. Like, I kind of really like cat, even though I know it's bad to... I don't think it's actually terrible to lie to your principal and say that the video they saw of someone having sex isn't you, because it's like, what else are you supposed to say?
Yeah.
And I get why technically you shouldn't want to be her when she's, like, taking this guy who did something horrible around and he's buying everything for her. But I wish, like, there are people who have done some unkind things, and I wish I knew to ask for that, because that was smart. Like, I kind of really like her, and so even though I don't, like, think she's the best person, like, that was, like, a crazy joke to make, and, like, I agree, like, it would have worked better if the guy was like, what the fuck, and, like, just never spoke to her again, instead of, like, raising eyebrows at her across the cafeteria. But also, like, I kind of want things to happen for her. Like, she feels like the Rachel Berry of the show.
Yeah, the cat thing is super interesting, because it's, like, she is, like, being awesome and, like, doing cool things, but at the same time, it's also, like, it just feels, like, wrong for the show to, like, almost, like, heistify, like, gamify this situation, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I don't know how to describe that better.
Well, they're acting like it's, like, uncut gems, but it's, like...
Yes, yeah.
They need to make it more promising young woman. Like, they need to make it more clear that, like, something bad is happening to her.
Yeah.
And, like, right now it feels like when... Like, the problem is when I watched that shot of, like, her coming out of the shop and, like, that boy holding tons and tons of bags for her.
It was, like, fun.
It was fun, and I was like,
yeah.
Like, I want to show this to my boyfriend and, like, make him do this for me. No.
Yeah.
Like, that's how, like, that's bad. He should carry stuff for me and take me shopping. but it's bad that Euphoria made me think that, even though I was watching the episode and knew the context.
Yeah.
Like, that was not so good.
Like, it is good. It's the best thing like, I'm, like, it's like, with Euphoria, like, setting up this plot in the last episode, like, it is, like, a fun, good thing to do with that, but also, like, this just shouldn't have been the plot in the first place.
And I do think it's, like, good that, like, you know, how, like, what she's doing now, I'm like, oh, like, okay. Like, I'm less, like, this is what they're doing a better job toward the end of the episode of, like, making it clear, like, you should not want this for yourself than they do in the middle of the episode where that, like, cutesy music plays.
Yeah.
He buys her tons of
that
stuff.
Was the scene I was thinking of. Like, literally him,
yes, like that's you
running.
and your mom today.
Yeah.
Like, which, like, also, sorry to say this, but it's so hysterical that those twins' names are Troy and Roy.
Yeah.
Like, that's why it's too much, because, like, it's, like, that's all clearly meant to be funny. Like, it's clearly meant to be funny that those are their names, that she was like, one more thing, and then, like, 15 minutes later, we see her shopping. Like, all these things are clearly meant to be funny, and they do a good job of, like, making it, like, making the weight of it clear later in the episode when she's, like, seeing how many views the video has, and, like, signing up to, like, get paid and, like, you know, all this stuff, but it's like they need more of that through like, it needs to be Promising Young Woman, because, like, what she does in Promising Young Woman, like, there are moments where it's like, she's doing awesome stuff. Like, I think they don't even need to scrap that she makes him buy her stuff, but the way that it is, like, written and shot makes it, like, look fun. I think also a scene we skipped over that I kind of have a lot of notes about, but because I feel like I'm being very negative this episode so far. I'm not, like, as, like, enamored, because, like, everything that and, like, but after this I'll try and say the more things I liked. But the scene I hated kind of the most in this episode actually was, like, Rue's weird monologue at the drama thing, like, yes,
of her,
I did not like that. I have something to say about it, though.
Yeah, well, for me, because it's, like, obviously Rue had a traumatic summer that, like, she doesn't want to talk about, but the thing is, multiple times throughout both this episode and the first episode, she's been in situations like that where she's had to do it, and she's coped with it in a much more real way. Again, like, in this episode, as we see her dancing, like, coming out of the thing, it's like, that's how Rue copes with it. Either, like, she, like, ignores it or, like, does jokes about it. Like, why in this situation all of a sudden is she, like, crying and being like, I don't want to talk about it? Like, is it like, oh, is it supposed to be like, this is the first moment where it's, like, hit for her, that it's like, okay, why? Like, it's like, it's just like, I don't know, it just didn't work very well, and just seemed like they wanted to do, like, pretty close-ups of Zendaya with, like, a big spotlight in the back. Because it also, like, didn't even give us that much, like, more information. It was just, like, a weird, like,
it didn't give really any information. I did think, like, it was that version of Fly Me to the Moon.
Whoa.
Like,
I don't even remember that.
That's what the song they were playing was, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure. Let me try and pull it up. Do you know when in the episode that was?
It was early in the episode.
Let me look, because I feel like, maybe I wrote it down wrong, but I feel like, let me look for my notes at the same time. But I feel like that's what they were playing.
Yeah.
And I was, like, shocked. Like, I was, like, appalled and blown away. Let me try to find it.
I think then also I can just keep talking that, like,
yes,
the scene, like, oh, yeah?
It is Fly Me to the Moon. And, like, it's this, like, fun in the sun version. And, like, I did like that.
Yeah.
I think, I said, I can't believe this rendition of Fly Me to the Moon, and I can believe even less how amazing it is and how it works. And I think they do a good job of, like, making it feel so much more sinister, like, the longer that song goes on.
Yeah.
And stuff. But, like, I did
It just
feel,
felt
like,
weird,
the
like, why
way
is
that
this happening now?
The way they had the song, the way that, like, the spotlights hit her and she's, like, crying, all of it felt like Glee.
Yeah.
Like, it had such strong Glee vibes, and I was like, it was appalling to me, like, how they did that. All of this just felt like that, the Nate Jacobs sequence, like, a lot of it just felt like, I don't know, like, it just felt very, like, not true to what's been set up, or how I feel the show's going.
No, exactly. It just wasn't... I don't understand why it was happening now in the way that it was happening. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess, like, this is a scene that we're seeing.
Yeah, like, the, I don't know, like, I felt that way also about, like, the fentanyl stuff. First of all, can't believe fentanyl was in the second episode of this show.
Yeah.
And that little boy's name is Mouse, or is Ashtray,
Yeah.
and that grown man's name is Mouse. Like, that, all of it just, like, blew me away.
And there's a Carrie poster in their room.
Yeah, like, all of it, I was just like, what? And, like, I don't know, kind of so much felt, like, just a little bit out of place within itself. Something I did think was interesting was, like, I loved that, like, you see all, like, the, like, Euphoria makeup stuff people do and stuff, and, like, I kind of thought, like, oh, that's, like, them getting so dressed up for these parties. I love that it's not that at all, it's just the drugs.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more of, like, what we were talking about with, like, everyone missing the point.
Yeah.
Like, it's so much more of, like, oh, we're all putting on, like, as much glitter as possible under our eyes and on our cheeks and, like, glittering our eyebrows, and we're not trying to, like, just recreate a cute little look they did. We're, like, recreating something, like, horrible that happened to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is,
that
like,
scene
whoa.
Also, like, when they were on the thing that was like LSD but with key differences, it, like, did the thing that I was talking about last episode that it should do, where it, like, cuts to, like, the objective thing of them just, like, sitting there.
Like, and that their faces are so close. Like, I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that scene, but then the ending of that scene was Zendaya saying, like, drugs, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but drugs are kind of cool.
I know, I wrote that line down too.
They're not.
I wrote that line down too, because it's like...
Yeah.
Because that just felt, like, so aggressively like a PSA. This whole episode
it was
had,
just
like Glee PSA episode vibes. Like...
And it's, like, just more so, it's, like, I just think I want to cut out all the Zendaya VO, because it's, like, that message, that PSA message, is way more clear if you just didn't say it. If you cut between this thing, you do the objective shot, back to the beautiful shot, then to Zendaya, like, passed out on the floor with the EMTs. Like, if you get, oh, drugs are cool, oh, wait, they're not, without being fucking cringe.
Without someone saying that right to you.
Yeah.
Also, okay, this is, like, kind of toward the end of my notes before I'm just, like, kind of saying stuff.
Yeah.
Just the last two things I have to say about Maddie and Nate Jacobs. This was, like, the ending of the episode.
Yeah, where he's in the rain with his awesome umbrella, like his cool guy shot.
Yes. First of all, I love what bowling looks like in this show. I love that the bowling episode of Euphoria is this. Like, all the lights, like, that's how she is dressed to go bowling. Once again, that's how he is dressed for that date. Like, we know, like, he killed someone. Like, so much of that. Like, I was like, this is an awesome, awesome scene. Then he says, oh, I have a present for you. It's this red box with a bow on it. She doesn't need to open it for us to know what's inside. Like, it's obvious. She's like, oh, thank you. He's all, like, or Zendaya's already told us that, like, oh, like, his, like, picture of an ideal woman and, like, what he likes about her.
Yeah.
She gets to her room, and she opens the box and hates the lingerie.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. that is beyond anything. That's so funny because it's like, of course she hates it. Like, it's so brilliant.
I kind of wish she also hated the bowling, because it's like, you think Maddie would have fun? Like, it's like bowling isn't fun. You know what I mean?
No, bowling sucks. Part of what I loved, I can't believe I didn't say this, is how she bowled. With, like, she holds the ball and, like, puts it between her legs and then, like, throws it. And honestly, that to me proved she didn't like it. Like,
I guess you're right.
Like, the fact that she bowled like that she wasn't, like, good at it, and, like, all the shots that, like, made it look fun were, like, of them kissing and, like, him looking at her and, like, she's looking at him, looking at her, and, like, it felt in the way that, like, the Cassie and McKay stuff felt so true to a high school relationship. I was like, oh, like, of course, like, she's with her, like, shitty boyfriend who she's cheating on, and he took her bowling, of all things. Like, when he's, like, trying to, like, say he's sorry and make it up to her, like, all he wanted to do was go bowling with her. So she dresses up. He doesn't even have sex with her. And he gives her lingerie that she hates. It's like, of course. Like, it did feel, like, that felt so real. And, like, kind of, like, 100, like, I was like, whoa, like, that is awesome. And it's also just, like, funny that she's like, this is hideous. Like, and, like, that it's so true to, like, what, that also makes me think, like, maybe Zendaya just was psychic, because, like, that's, if I had to guess, like, what lingerie is Nate Jacobs, like, picturing his teeny tiny, like, cheerleader girlfriend in, like, of course it's, like, pink with polka dots, like, hot pink with, like, little polka dots, and she doesn't like it.
I just think I'm just scared, because, like, I agree with you, but also, like, I didn't see, like, I liked it at the end. It's just, like, I kind of think Sam Levinson just thinks that, like, kids actually love bowling. Like, I don't know. I feel like she it was like I love the version of that scene you saw, but I don't think I saw that. Like, I think they were just being like, oh, she loves bowling.
I guess. I hope not.
I don't know.
Otherwise, why did they let her bowl like that? Like, it was, I would believe you more easily if, like, the way she bowled was, like, normal.
She was, like, I wish there was just, like, one shot of her face before she sees the, because I don't know. It also, like, seems like she, like, kind of is actually, like, excited to, like, get a gift and, like, excited to open it. Like, it's like, I wish there was more. I just wish there was, like, literally one more shot. Because to me, I was like, are we supposed to be having fun bowling right now? But, like, you made me, like, I hope I'm wrong. You know, because your scene is awesome.
I hope. Well, because I was just picturing, like, oh my god, like, if me and my high school boyfriend ever went bowling, like, because, like, who takes me bowling? Like, I picture it, and I'm like, who's taking me bowling? It's always my dad. Or a boy who I don't want to be on a date with. Because I actually have, like, last time I went bowling is, like, such, like, a vivid memory for me, because it was in high school, sophomore year of high school. I went with these two boys, and then within the next 24 hours, both of them asked me to be their girlfriend, and I didn't want to date either of them. Like, I thought we were just friends. So I was like, I'm really just trying to have fun with my friends, and, like, of course they're taking me freaking bowling, and, like, it just, like, to me, bowling is, like, the worst activity.
Yeah,
and so, like,
no, exactly.
I feel like, I kind of am projecting onto Maddie, like, a teeny bit, but I feel like she hates it. Like, I feel like because she hates the lingerie, like, she's, like, she wants him to be, well, because she's also saying things to him, like, you're the sweetest guy ever, when it's, like, no one thinks that about him, like, no one at all but her thinks that, and she's, like, saying stuff like that to him. It's like, and she's, like, having sex in the pool. Like, she clearly doesn't actually like him. She just, like, likes, like, wearing her little outfit and, like, being on a date with, like, a cute boy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just can't tell if Euphoria agrees with you yet.
Right. I kind of, and that's so weird, but, like, that's where we keep leaving every episode, is that, like,
exactly.
We
like it, but we're not sure if we're supposed to.
Like, we can't tell if we're just totally misunderstanding everything. Like, that's why we have to get a guest on our show. Put in the comments. You're in, like, your pitched to be a guest on our show. Because we need a guest who, like, is a Euphoria fan who we don't know.
I don't think that's... Yeah, be in the comments. Someone who we don't know who is a Euphoria fan.
Well, don't we? Like, I know it's so unlikely because, like, we're not huge yet, but, like...
Yeah. One day
we'll do that, but, like, otherwise, like, how are we gonna... I feel like, okay, you know how, like, people come up to you on the street and, like, try to, like, get you to join their church?
Yes.
And, like, they'll ask you questions about, like, your faith and stuff like that to, like, try and... I feel like we need to start doing that to strangers about Euphoria, like, recording sound bites of, like, us talking to, like, people just around about it, because, like, tons of people watch it. Like, chances are if, like, I go to a mall and, like, start approaching groups of, like, people around my age and say, like, hey, have you guys seen Euphoria? Like, can I ask you some questions? Like, they'll answer.
Yeah. Well, again, my parents have both seen Euphoria. I don't know what they think of bowling, but I think my dad likes bowling.
Well, yeah, but I think we need someone, like, we need, like, one of the Wesleyan students who's seen it.
Yeah, we do.
That's what I mean, is, like, it doesn't need to be a stranger, but, like, I don't think it can be, like, one of the people we hang out with every single day, because, like, they all, like...
Get it.
Like, if we tell like, Nate, like, or Gracie, like, oh, like, here's our thoughts, blah, 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 like, they'll be like, oh, I think you're right. Like, we need someone who's, like, less likely to, like, agree.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's mostly it for that. I mean, we kind of skipped over the, like, drug deal scene, but there's not much to talk about.
It's hilarious that we just didn't talk about that, because that's, like, the scariest scene.
Yeah, it was just, like, a scary, like, intense scene for no reason. I guess it was, like... It's just, like... I don't know. It's, like, if Euphoria is trying to show, like... what, like, drugs being scary, but also, like, in a real way... I just don't think that was the way to do it, is mostly what I'll say. Like, it's just, like, I think it's almost scary, because I actually do like the line where, Rue says, drugs stop being fun, where, like, guns around, something like that. I think the scene is scary enough if she just sees Fez pull out a gun, like, you're, like, lifted up, and this guy, like, this older man, it's like, oh, like, yeah, like, that, it just does become, like, a scarier situation, and then, like, that kind of should have been it, I feel like.
Yeah, like, and then, we didn't need this, like, older man forcing her to take fentanyl.
Exactly. It's, like, already just scary enough that, like, an older man is, like, interacting in this scene that, like, is for kids. Like, it's like, oh, we're kids, we do drugs, and it's like, oh, shit, like, there's this guy. Like, that...
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why, okay, if we wrote Euphoria, I feel like Mr. Jacobs is someone else. He's not Nate Jacobs' dad, and he's this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's who it should have been. Like, it would have been obviously way too much for, like, Nate Jacobs' dad to be the one who walked in, but I feel like we need some... Like, if they wanted to make that a recurring character, like, that's how they should have done it. But also, like... I don't know. I just... Like, it didn't feel necessary to me that he make her... Like, that he, like, force her to take drugs.
Yeah.
And, like... I don't know. Also, we didn't talk at all about, like, the Lexi and Rue stuff. And I did actually think, like, that was a good scene. Like, with, like, her saying, like, oh, well, you're just gonna say the same thing, like, the opposite thing to me in a week when you need me to pee in a Tylenol jar for you, and, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I kind of liked that, like, she stands up for herself, but it feels like I just wish, like, the show gave her something to do besides, like, yell at Zendaya.
That's kind of what, like, I felt.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, like, this would be a more powerful scene if, like, we cut Lexi out of the whole show, and, like, Lexi's role to Zendaya is filled by Kat, and, like, Kat's saying that. Where, like, so, like, we see, like, oh, well, Kat has all this other stuff going on, like, is also making, like, these decisions and blah, 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 but, like, we also, like, sympathize with her. Because it's just hard to sympathize with, like, oh, she's Zendaya's best friend, but, like, we don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all I have to super say.
No, that's what, like, it was, like, I don't know, it was a crazy episode. It was a fine episode, though. Like, it's like, I think we were just, there was no 9/11 moment. There was nothing that, like, shocked, there, because it's like, I was, like, shocked in this episode. Like, the thing that shocked me the most was, like, the porn code, like, cracking, it's like, but it, like, the 9/11 thing was like, oh, like, Euphoria is doing something. This episode, to me, wasn't, like, this is more the episode that I thought Euphoria would be.
Yes,
like,
me too.
It was still, like, shocking. It was still, like, oh, they're, like, going places. Like, doing, like, 2019 things. But it was just, like, okay, like,
yeah, like,
know.
it was just, it felt like more of the same. Like, it felt like if the first episode got longer.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have to commend them. I could see this episode. Like, the lighting was, like, good enough for me to, like, be able to see what was happening. I just, like, I don't know. I do think it's, like, I don't know. It's interesting. What are our predictions for the next episode?
Man, I don't... Well...
Or what's something you hope?
We didn't talk about that the cat plotline ends with her making, like, an OnlyFans kind of.
Yeah, like, I mentioned that in passing, but we didn't actually talk about it.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I kind of think that is gonna somehow intersect with the whole, like, now, like, Grindr / like, dating apps, like, plotline. There's gonna be something there. We also didn't talk about that Jules watches anime.
No, we didn't talk about that. Also, actually, I just realized, I think Jules is not catfishing people as a, like, I don't think she's pretending to be a cisgender man. And the reason I don't think that is she also met Nate Jacobs' dad on
Exactly.
Grindr, and he wasn't like, who are you? Like, you know what I mean? So I think actually, but I do think, like, she's probably saying that she is trans. Otherwise, like, why is it Grindr? Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's why I didn't pick. I just thought, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess my prediction
also,
is, like, Zendaya is gonna punch Nate Jacobs, and it's not gonna do a lot of damage to him because he's so strong, and then he's gonna go, ha ha ha, and then, like, punch her super hard, and she's gonna, like, fly off the screen. That's my prediction.
My prediction is that it's a little more lukewarm, but I feel like it's not as, like, exciting as yours, but I feel like Cassie and McKay are gonna break up in, like, a way that doesn't feel satisfying. Like, I feel like it's gonna feel the way it's been feeling.
I kind of thought they already did break up. Like, I thought, like, he was texting her, like, oh, yeah, we're breaking up, but, like, can I have one last nude? Like,
really?
That's kind of that's what I took it. Because he was, like, saying, like, yeah, it's going to be hard for me to, like, come down more, like, because of college. That's what he was saying before he asked for a nude.
I guess and so.
Like, I
kind of
took it as
one last one.
I mean, it wasn't directly, but my, like, actual real prediction, and, like, this is, like, just stealing yours, is, like, I think he's just going to ghost her, like, from now on. Like, it's, like, I think...
I think... I hope something, like, more definitive happens, only because, like, otherwise what's gonna happen to that character? Like, I know she's in it more.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, honestly, what I'm really curious about is, like, I know we know that, like, there's gonna be a play that, like, is about the first season, and I know that Cassie is the one who directs it. So what's gonna happen to her?
Yeah, exactly. She has to be an integral part.
That she, like, is so mad that she makes the play.
Yeah. No, that is interesting.
I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this has been a great episode. Fana, thanks for talking with me.
Thanks for talking with me, and thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Well, stay young, wild, and free.